Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Always when you see the agenda, management book review will have 5 to 7 minutes. I don't know why it is 10 to 12 minutes today.
Because it's you.
Yeah, got it. Because it's me. It's not Let's start with the story. One of the famous stories, and everyone would have read that book, Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, that there is one story. Like the dad comes from office after a long, tiring day, and he was reading the newspaper and what is happening in the world. And he was interested to know what is happening in the world, and the girl was pestering his dad, come and play with me, come and play with me, come and play with me. And he was not paying attention, and he wanted to give a task to the girl. So what he did is, from the paper, he tore the world map and gave it to the girl, and fix this puzzle and come back, I'll play with you. He was thinking that she was going to consume more than 30-40 minutes. So within 5 minutes she was back. And dad was surprised. I think there is a skip in the genetical. My daughter finished in 5 to 10 minutes. So he looked at the map and asked his daughter, how it is possible. And she was telling, behind that map there was a face. And I know where is the nose, where is the eyes, where is the ears. Nice. Then where is the countries. So I can fix the man, the world is fixed. Pretty simple story, right? I fixed the man, the world is fixed. And we all look out for books to fix everybody. And if we fix us, the world will be fixed. So that's the simple logic of book I picked today. And there are examples, lot of examples we can quote. One of the examples is, like in 2012 there was a meeting, Toastmaster ISC contest, which is happening in near Kotrapuram, some hall, I don't remember the name. And Saro was the division director at that point. There was one guy who walked onto the stage and he was talking about how confident he ought to be. All that message he was giving, and until that point, he was nervous. He was, oh my God, he was walking up. The way you look at the contestant, you know what is happening, and he went on to the stage, 5 to 7 minutes, altogether a different personality. And oh my God, off the stage is different, on the stage is different. So the same way someone will come and tell health is very important and he will be obese. So all this is, if you manage yourself, the world will be respecting you and taking care. So this book, most of you would have read, I believe, The Mega Living by Robin Sharma. The book is divided into 4 parts. Number 1, first is taking care of your mind, body and character. And for everything, what I liked is, he has given some stories, small stories. And then for that story, what is the learning you have? And there are tips you can implement for applying that. Whatever you learn, how you apply it. Look, in the recent time I got fascinated by Tirukkural. In the recent times. In school times, all we need is 2 lines, 2 marks. But in the recent times, I don't know, I got a lot of fascination. Reading Tirukkural and comparing this book, I think he's copied completely from Tirukkural. That's what I felt. The first 3 chapters is from Arathupal. When you look at it, Olukuda, Olukamudamai, Vaimai, all that were covered in this book. It is taking care of yourself with respect to mind, what is that you have to follow, with respect to body, physical thing, what is that you have to fix, and character. Fabulous. It has got a story, what is the message you have to take and how you apply it. When you read how you apply it, I am sure you can apply it. It has got a lot of messages. You can take any of the point and apply it. I'll tell you a lot of examples what I learned and what I applied. And the next chapter, like 3 chapters is about mind, body and character, and the next chapter is 200 tips to life mastery. It has got 200 tips, lot of tips there, and there are a lot of tips I have applied from that 200 tips. And one of the tips, Kalyan used to ask me always, how this VIT guys loved you like this. See, he always asked this question. Hey, after he got selected as division director, he was asking me, VIT is with me now. What has to be done? What has to be done? So, see, one of the tip he has given, remember the names of people. One of the important sound they wanted to listen from everyone is your name. That's very important. You remember the name of people, one of the tip. In VIT, if you go on if you ask me what is the name of everyone whom I interact, I remember the names of everybody. So that is the reason when I went for a contest or every time when I go, there is a difference. And the other thing he mentioned is write a journal. Write a journal. And there are a lot of people gave this tip, and I started following and skip. Okay, one of the important thing which I learned writing a journal from this is totally two I brought in, and I have one more in my home, and it has got a lot of personal stuff. This one can be shared. A lot of Ramlingam is there. Sudha Rajesh is there. Jayan, Vichi, Satish, a lot of Toastmasters, my daughter, my wife, about what is that learning from it, and what is that happened on that day, what is the learning from it, and how you introspect and don't want to repeat that. Or one of the lessons I learned from Ramlingam when I was a division director, I used to write a lot of things about, it gives update, you don't ask anything, and push is also there.
Oh my God!
So you don't need to ask what is happening. He keeps you updated. Say this is what happening with this club. This is what happening with Flyjack. This is what happening with. So all that update will be there. I used to write. This is how you have to be. The learning from him. Kush I used to follow, and I have written about him also. I used to follow for him what has to be fixed. So the journal is introspection and writing your thought and what has to be, what should not be repeated and what has to be repeated to happen. So these are a few things, and associate with positive people. Like that's why I joined Meraki. There is a question in the long list. This is one of the.
Yeah.
And when you are there for learning or your work, this is I used to follow. He said keep your data turned off or put your mobile in silent mode when you are focusing on something. I take my mobile, put it in the drawer in my office. I reach office before 8:30. Till 12:30 I will not touch my mobile. It sits in the drawer. Maybe during the break I will check and keep it. So this is one of the things I used to follow. So these are a lot of tips which you can apply. And the last piece of the book is 30-day perfect life mastery of perfect life. So in that there are a lot of tips. It is really tough to follow. I have not followed. It is really tough to follow. If you follow, I wouldn't be standing here and delivering this book. I will be living the life of this book. But you can take a lot of lessons from it. If you live it, it's altogether different story. It is taking care of your mind. The workout, it is like a workout for you. What is that you have to do to take care of your mind? What is that you have to do for taking care of your body? And what is the one action item for that day to take care of your character? Like gratitude. There are a lot of things. So I'm not saying you will transform by reading this book, but it will make an impact by implementing few of the things, and it will surely transform in few areas. And one thing I would suggest Robin Sharma to change. There are 200 tips. What we used to go do in exams, we go, we'll take a point and break the point and write second point and break that point, third point. So that's how we'll fill the paper, right? So we'll get the marks, and teacher should feel, oh. See, when you see the 200 tips, there are a lot of, he takes a point, he explains in the first page, and go to the fifth page, a different version, different names, and he has given the same tip in the. Maybe you should have distilled and made it as 50 points. It would have been better. And the tactics he used, I believe, is from Tirukkural. Or even he mentioned ancient Indian yogis used to follow. That's what he was telling. And maybe Tirukkural also one of the reason. And he was talking about the body, right? Taking care of your body. In that he was telling about pasittu pusi. That is one thing. And medicine. மருந்தன வேண்டாமாம் யாக்கைக்கு அருந்தியது அற்றது போற்றி உணேன். So no need for medicine. If you understand what you ate, if you digest, if you feel hungry, you have it. No need for medicine. So that is one of. There are a lot of tips in it, and I feel if we follow a few of the things, I'm sure there will be wonderful transformation. Let's not worry about applying it or doing it. We'll take some tip and do it. One of the important tip I used to follow is the breath technique. During the break time, I used to come to parking area in my office SLS. I don't call anyone for break, so I walk 10 minutes walk. 6 breath, 6 step, inhale, hold 6 step, and exhale 6 step. That's it. This is what the routine 10 minutes I used to do. Only focusing on breath and the steps I have. Somehow when I go back, the focus is completely different. So that's what, as I mentioned, the tips which will transform. If you find, but you can finish it in 1 hour. If you do it, that's it. This is another book. Even I have it in office, I go, open it and read one and keep it. So that's how it has to be. It has to be a gospel. Over to you.